toxicity of Zindan has slightly eased. Here it comes. Can you do something for me? Goddess, please give your orders. I would face 1,000 deaths without hesitation. Zaya King said, you should spread the news in Yihang Building. It is said that a celestial treasure has appeared in the northern wilderness. Among them is the Gao pendant formula. King Liu looks like, in a spacious room. Joey, Payan Sun San slept together on a big bed. The three of them are now well-known dealers of souls and flesh. Not just Yunlin town. Nearby are several towns. Many people come to them to buy spiritual meat. These days, the three of them also earned quite a bit of snacks. Moved from Jiu Alley to the better environment of King Luo Alley. The address has changed from the previously cramped rental house. We moved into this spacious 2-bedroom, 2-living-room apartment now. However, the three of them had long been accustomed to sharing a bed. There was no arrangement for separate beds. Still sleeping on the same bed every night. Let's talk about life. Let's talk about dreams. Let's talk about my admiration for the goddess Nine Yang. Yes, for the red-haired nun who changed their destiny. The three of them already have a unified name. Shen Nu Nian Yang. The three of them were originally just the ambitions of the Blood Dan sect, being chased in the land of Nanmo, forced to flee to this remote town in the east, except for burning, killing, and looting, lacking any special talents. We can only continue with our plundering activities, become the ghost cultivator that everyone wants to beat, until that night encountered the goddess Nine Yang. The fate of the three began to change. To find the spiritual body for the goddess, they each became puppeteers, spirit master and spirit beast master, and opened a butcher shop in King Luo Alley. Every day I can earn dozens of spirit stones. It can be said that their cultivation has reached a significant level. Bountiful harvest in career. All of this. It's all because of the urging from the goddess. The three had already sworn an oath. I must be the loyal dog of the goddess, to die for the spirit master of the divine goddess. At this moment, the three were sleeping soundly. Suddenly a scream echoed. Her face, however, was filled with immense joy. It is the goddess. Shen and Binenyan finally summoned us. The three people jumped up from the bed, quickly putting on my outerwear. He rushed out the door. It's pouring rain outside, but they could not extinguish the burning passion in their hearts. A moment later, Liu Yan Shan, Boo, goddess Nine Yan, we have arrived. It hurts so much. The three of them cried out in pain. A madman, overjoyed to the point of frenzy, rushing into the depths of Yanliu Alley. From afar, I saw that tall and beautiful figure. The previous two were extravagant. Yue Xing erects a staff, the first to kneel before Zaya Kinglian. Goddess Nine Yang, I miss you so much. Oh no, it was unexpectedly preempted by the previous one. Zhao Yi was unwilling, rushed forward to Zaya Kinglian, kneeled down at the call, devoutly licking the dirt beneath the goddess' feet. Goddess Nine Yang, Zhao Yi sends his regards. The first two were stunned, just wanting to emulate Zhao Yi. Also kneel and lick the dirt beneath the feet of the goddess. However, Sun San had already run to the side of goddess Shen Envy, holding up a large umbrella, blocked the rain for the empress, and said with deep sorrow, Goddess Nine Yang, how can you not cherish yourself like this? If you get caught in the rain and catch a chill, isn't it going to be a painful death for us? Dened. In the end, that kid Sun San knows how to flatter better. Zhao Yi and Cayenne exchanged a glance. Indignant, HMPH. Zaya Kinglian let out a cold snort. The three of them were instantly drenched in sweat. Kiki knelt down, daring not to show off the flattery and more. Why was yesterday's Kantu leopard meat of poor quality? Zaya Kinglian asked coldly. Last night, Zaya Kinglian learned a few new dishes. A carefully prepared dish. But Kim Jengyeon was worried about the matter of the elixir formula, but didn't eat much. However, Zaya Kinglian, nature will not blame its husband. This spirit can only be found in those who provide the ingredients. Surely it is your negligence and indifference. The provided meat quality is poor. It made my husband lose his appetite. His cold question. The three of them were trembling with fear. Zhao Yilian's blind cradle. Goddess, please calm your anger. I will go to Yunlin Mountain tonight. I will find you the most delicious Kantu bao meat. The other two kept bowing and assuring. You are filled with dread. Zaya Kinglian finally calmed down her anger a little, said softly, this scaled meat is not for me alone to consume. You must do your best. There must be no slightest delay. Understood? Yes. The three responded loudly. Paused. Zaya Kinglian continued. There is one more thing. Spread the news in the vegetable market tomorrow. It was said that a celestial treasure had appeared in the North Wilderness. Among them is a peerless skill, genius earth treasure and high-quality medicinal formula. I will not fail the trust of the goddess. The three bowed their heads to take the exam. After a moment I looked up. The goddess has vanished without a trace. Zhao Yi fell to the ground. Nan Ao. The Empress is fury. My heart trembles, yet filled with joy and anticipation. Tsai, the first two sat down next to her, drenched from head to toe in heavy rain, yet completely unaware, still savoring the moment. Yes, a sense of fear lingered in my heart. I looked forward to the goddess stepping on me, savagely ravaged. That feeling must be like soaring high. Sun San's face showed despair. Haven't you noticed? The goddess said, the scales and flesh are not meant for her alone. The tone has become much softer. I guess the goddess must have someone she loves. This scale meat. Perhaps it's meant for her husband. What? Zhao Yi and Cayenne Ursha widened their eyes. The goddess already has a husband. How could this be? How could anyone in the world be worthy of the goddess? Pain. It hurt so much. One day, the family of three finished breakfast. Qin Zhengyan was about to take Liu Su to practice. Suddenly, Liu Su said, Son-in-law, Miss, I'm heading out for a bit. Qin Zhengyan asked, Su, where are you going? Liu Su smiled slyly. I became familiar with a sister at the Yihang Lu. Today is the wedding. Please invite me to the wedding banquet. This is indeed a good thing. Then you go. Come back early. Qin Zhengyan smiled and said, Su is cheerful and lively these days, but I stayed at home with her to cultivate. It's time to go out and clear my mind. The river of autumn nodded slightly. Liu Suhyun shouted. He got up and ran outside. Qin Zhengyan smiled. To the river of autumn. How about we practice together today? Qiu Zhai, he looked at her. The voice suddenly became gentle. Husband, I still need to go grocery shopping. Please accompany me. Qin Zhengyan is righteous. Nodded immediately. Sounds good. I will accompany my wife. This is the first time my wife has asked me to accompany her outside. Moreover, that call of husband from her. My heart feels tingly. How could she refuse? Very soon. The couple then walked out of the courtyard alley. I ran into Chen Fang, who was also out buying groceries. I see two people, Chen Fang said in surprise. Qin Daoliu, did you really go grocery shopping with Jie today? Qin Zhengyan laughed and said, "Yes, my wife wants me to accompany her." Speaking, he also took the little hand of Qiu Zhai in front of many neighbors, showing off their affection. Qiu Ji didn't expect her to be like this. Her face turned red, yet he did not shake off her hand. He lowered his head and silently pulled her along. "Walk quickly ahead." Chen Feng smiled slyly. "You two are really affectionate. The day of the river of no return. Come back to learn new dishes from me. It seems it's for Kindeyu. That is nature. My wife is the most gentle and virtuous." Qin Zhengyan said sincerely. Qiu Zhai, his face turned even redder. On the road, I ran into a few familiar female cultivators. Seeing that the River of Autumn is accompanied by her husband to buy groceries, I can't help but feel a wave of envious teasing again. The autumn river flows gently along the path, unable to utter a single word, until we reached the vegetable market in Kingluo Alley. She finally calmed down a bit. According to the plan, unintentionally bringing Qin Zhengyan along, walking towards Zhao Yisen's butcher shop. 5. Your daily spirit and flesh. Is this where you bought it? Qin Zhengyan saw it from afar. The brand new butcher shop. Strange tunnel. I have never seen this before. Is it newly opened? Just as they were speaking, but there were quite a few people gathered at the butcher's shop entrance. It seems they are discussing something passionately. The River of Autumn sparkle. Takes Qin Zhengyan's hand actively. Husband, there are many people over there. Please accompany me. Good. Qin Zhengyan rarely sees such a delicate side of the autumn river. In the room, a butcher is slaughtering meat, while animatedly chatting with the guests. Is there still a fake? My great-uncle's friend, outside the Danang sect's outer gate. He personally heard his master say it. A recent discovery of a structure in the northern wilderness. Treasure left behind by a suspected immortal. Inside are heavenly materials and earthly treasures. Ritual tool techniques. Dan Fan Ling Yao. Everything you could want. If you get the same thing, that is a tremendous destiny. He spoke passionately. The two people next to him also chimed in. My sixth aunt's daughter-in-law is at Feiyan's sect. She also heard about it. The treasure left by the immortal. It should be on the southern side of the North Wilderness Sky Road. It is said that Feiyan sect. They will also send disciples to investigate. Not just Feiyan's sect. The son of my seventh uncle's third aunt, at the Thundersword sect. He also heard about the immortal treasure. 3 people speaking makes it certain. The sound is not small. Attracted quite a few monks who came to buy vegetables. They began to discuss it as well. 3 major sects just suffered a big loss at Qianliu Mountain. Dare they still send someone? Jinyang's sect and Leijian's sect. It was a trap set by the magical gate. This is the treasure of the ascended immortals. It will never be like the demon gate. So treacherous and cunning. I don't know how many treasure hunting teams are going. What a pity. I am an ordinary scattered cultivator. It lacks the strength. I'm going to try my luck. Qin Zhengyan's testimony. He is interested in treasures of immortals. There are no unrealistic desires. But that sentence about the Danfang elixir, but it is truly real, struck a chord in his heart. Husband, what's wrong with you? A gentle call from my wife reached my ears. Qin Zhengyan came to his senses, smiled and said, It's nothing. Wife, let's go grocery shopping first. Very soon, the couple bought the groceries, walking towards Jiu Alley. Qin Zhengyan was frowning and deep in thought all the way. The River of Autumn quietly stayed by his side. A faint smile quietly appeared at the corner of his mouth. The two returned home. Kyujai he has gone to cook. Qin Zhenyan then went to the alchemy chamber to cultivate. Sometimes Liu Su hummed a song as she returned. As soon as I entered, I shouted loudly, "Miss, son-in-law, I'm back. Today I heard a big piece of news." At this moment, Kyuje and Qin Zhenyan, sitting upright in the outer room to rest, hearing Liu Su's words, Qin Zhenyan smiled and said, "Su Su went out for a while. Yet it became a bit more lively. What big news have you heard?" Kyuje looked at Liu Su. The two exchanged a subtle glance. Liu Su walked to the table and sat down, poured a glass of water, glug glug, drinking it all down. "Wipe your mouth. This is just the beginning. Today, many sisters from Yehanlu have come. I heard them say, a relic of a female immortal was discovered in the northern wilderness. There are so many wonderful things inside. What flying sword? Gong Fa Ah. Gao Pin Yuang Yu Long. Dan Fan, what is it? Got the same thing. Then we can achieve great repairs." Liu Su speaks without restraint. Even Lion Huang Yulong has spoken up. Kyuji glared at her, looking at Qin Zhenyan. Fortunately, Qin Zhenyan did not notice anything else. At this moment, I am deep in thought, clearly moved by the elixir formula left by the immortal. The two women exchanged a glance. Kyujai he got up and walked into the kitchen. "Bring out the finished dishes." Eating, the three people had dinner. Take a moment to rest. Qin Zhenyan and Liu Su went to train. It wasn't until midnight that I returned to the bedroom. However, Qin Zhenyan's face did not have a smile, clearly preoccupied with thoughts. The river of autumn is not in a hurry, sitting cross-legged calmly on the bed, waiting for Qin Zhenyan to speak up himself. Yihang Lu and the vegetable market. It is the fastest place for news to spread. The river of autumn leads Meng Yu and three ghost cultivators. Spread the immortal's talisman in these two places. News about the Gao pendant formula. Take Qin Zhenyan to the vegetable market again. Deliberately let her hear it. On the other side, Liu Su used an excuse, going to celebrate the wedding of the Yihang building sisters, unintentionally bringing back the same message. This way, it would be seamless. This news caught Qin Zhengyan's attention. Now she only speaks for herself. The autumn river can accompany her to the northern wilderness. Adapt to the situation when the time comes. Pretended to accidentally discover the hidden treasures of Kinglian Gate. Accidentally discovering the recipe for the ice heart rejuvenation pill. This way, the Dan Fang can be handed over to Qin Zhenyan, without exposing her identity as the holy maiden of the Kinglian sect. This plan can be considered perfect. The river of autumn closes its eyes. Yet there was no sound from Qin Zhenyan. A sense of restlessness arose within. "Wife, I have something I want to discuss with you." Finally, Qin Zhenyan spoke. The river of autumn opens its eyes. He looked at her with a calm expression. The heartbeat quickens slightly. Qin Zhenyan continued, "The legend of the treasures left behind by the northern wilderness immortal. I always feel that something is off." "What is strange?" Hugh felt her heart skip a beat. I asked unconsciously. Qin Zhenyan is upright. On regular days, the wife is quite indifferent to these matters. Why are you so anxious now? Autumn's river suddenly felt out of sorts. The face returned to its cold calm. Said softly, "What do you want to say?" Qin Zhenyan then continued, "I just feel that, although this matter may not be true, but I don't have much time left. I still want to try my luck in the northern wilderness. Just—" He held Kyuje's hand, spoke softly, "You just settled down in Yulin town. If you are unwilling to go to the northern wilderness, I will go with you. Kyuji immediately said, stunned for a moment, staring at him blankly. Why, in the past, the lady was always cool and silent, even if I promised to accompany him to the northern wilderness. At most, just a sound of acknowledgement. Today's just so urgent. King Jengyan, moved by the moment. There is also doubt in my heart. The river of autumn waits for him to say he wants to go to Beihuang. I've been waiting for a long time. That's why I couldn't hold back, and blurted out, seeing King Jengyan's strange expression. He knew he had misspoken again. Mustn't reveal the secret. Divert his attention. Kyujai, he suddenly got up and walked to the window, raising my hand to brush my face, the candle, turning back the road. It's time to take a break. King Jengyan opened his mouth wide. Why, didn't you say it was just this once last night? You talk too much. Tonight I'm sleeping outside. Wife, I was wrong. We come for blessings. After 12 performances of the 300 plays again, Kyuji walked out of the bedroom. Yuan's small face was adorned with a hint of blush. It's not entirely due to cultivation. More perfectly resolved the unilateral issue. A joy that couldn't be contained in my heart. Miss succeeded. Liu Su was dozing off at the desk. Jian Qiu shy, he comes out. Hastily stepped forward and whispered a question. Qiu shy, he nodded. Look at him. You have been waiting outside. Liu Su stretched and yawned. After all, he's my brother-in-law. I naturally care about it. I'm just curious. He smiled darkly, walking along the autumn river path. Saintess, when have you ever been so considerate? Again humbly doing these things for a man. You're not like yourself anymore. The river of autumn spoke coldly. I'm just borrowing him to restore his cultivation. He wanted to exhaust the master's legacy. First, you need to assist with the attack. If one's cultivation is insufficient, it is his own fate. The true legacy of the Kinglian sect's leader contains prohibitions. You must have a cultivation level above this to enter, Liu Su said with a smile, even if he can't achieve the assist. Saint Yu will also find all possible ways. Help him achieve it. It's time to sleep. Kyuji let out a cold snort, walking back to the bedroom. Closed the door. Liu Su rested her chin on her hand, shaking his head and sighing. Sigh, how tough is your mouth? The heart is as soft as it can be. Wuzai Town, in an alchemy workshop. This is the largest alchemy workshop in Wuxi Town. There are 2 third-tier Dan masters. One of them has already caught the attention of Tiandin Pavilion. Soon we will set off for Jinyang City. From then on, I embarked on a smooth path to success. However, no one expected. Tonight, this promising alchemist, about to have all future severed, look, direct disciple of Ziyu Peak, Yuo Jinfeng, who killed him at this moment in front of the 2 third-grade Dan masters. A figure in a purple robe stood upright, the nun with an open collar. She has long wavy hair, a pair of charming phoenix eyes, the slightly thick red lips parted, a voice that is alluring to the bone. The 2 Dan masters stared blankly. The body is stiff, staring intensely at the seductive figure of that female cultivator. In their eyes there was nothing but blazing flames. There is nothing more. It's like 2 alchemy furnaces with temperatures that are too high. Burn it again. It's about to explode. The 2 had lost their senses at this moment, hearing what that female cultivator said. Immediately, the voice answered in a daze. I don't know. The enchanting female cultivator sat on the chair, crossed legs, fingers curling around their own hair ends. Again asked, Has Yuo Zhenfeng come to find you? The two answered in unison, blankly. Found it. The enchanting female cultivator yawned. The mountains shook in a sudden fright. Ask again. What did she ask you? Where did our high-grade spiritual herbs come from? How did you respond? Our high-quality spiritual herb. It is from the hands of the Northern Wilderness treasure-hunting team, bought at a high price. Oh, are you from the Kinglian sect? But the enchanting female cultivator shook her head in boredom. It's boring now. She walked up to the two dazed Dan Masters, with both hands resting on their shoulders, suddenly burst into laughter. Am I beautiful? The two nodded repeatedly. Beautiful. The enchanting female cultivator smiled at her brother. Sweet lips. He asked again, aren't you all eager to do that kind of thing with me? What? She leaned closer, gently breath in their ears. Then let's. Come on. The enchanting female cultivator grabbed the hands of the two alchemists, slowly reaching for his collar. The heat in the eyes of the two people, almost bursting my eyeballs. The pupils were like steel beads forged in fire, gradually turned crimson. Their hands, as I was about to encounter the alluring female cultivator's collar. Two loud bangs. The eyes of the two burst. 4 streams of fresh blood shot out. The two finally turned away from the enchantment, rolling on the ground with my face covered, enduring it all, in the frozen eyes of blood. Spiritual energy continuously emerges, drifting into the enchanting female cultivator's brother's playful smile. Very quickly, the screams of the two people gradually weakened. The spiritual energy within them has been completely drained by this female cultivator. Two promising rogue alchemists. Not only did I go blind because of this, all cultivation has turned into nothingness. With a creak, the door of the alchemy chamber was pushed open. Feng Zhu walked in from outside. Seeing this tragic scene, a flicker of reluctance crossed his eyes. To that enchanting female cultivator, third senior sister, since they are not remnants of the demon sect, why should we destroy their cultivation? Simminglen tied her shawl. Cover the enticing half of the mountain railing. Slightly raise your chin. If they have no malicious intent, my charm is naturally useless against them. But when they saw my eyes, it's about to pop out. As a result, he ended up taking out his own eyeballs, staring intensely. No wonder it's me. However, Feng Zhu looked at the one lying on the ground. 2 faint figures. Took a deep breath. This is just the beginning. Senior Sister San, we are on the right path. Isn't it already to protect all living beings in the world? Is it a personal responsibility? Why treat these wandering cultivators this way? Siming Lan's brother smiled, walked up to Feng Zhu. He lifted his hand and pinched her fair cheek. Junior sister, to protect all living beings in the world, many people must be killed. If only 10,000 are killed, can protect the world. It's already quite profitable. At a glance, I only took out 2 people. This cleared the entire Wuzai town of suspicion. I'm sorry, but I can't assist with that. Acting in accordance with the righteous path. That's how gains and losses are calculated. Feng Zhu lowered her head, lost expression. Little junior sister, you are really cute. If you were a man, I will definitely cherish you well. Simminglen patted her shoulder, twisting the waist, walking towards the alchemy workshop entrance. Let's go. It's time to go to Yunlin town. 2 days later, Yunlin town, Qin Zhengyan held close, finally completed 43rd grade elixirs. Arriving at Danfu building, the attendant standing at the door, as soon as I saw him, immediately greeted with a smile. Senior Qin has arrived. Please enter the hall and have some tea. I'll report this to Manager Tong right away. Thank you for your hard work." Qin Zhenyan smiled. "Follow the buddy into the inner hall." The waiter quickly brought the tea. "I'm sorry to spill. Senior Qin, Tong Zhangui is attending to a distinguished guest. Please hold on for a moment." After speaking, he stepped out. Qin Zhenyan was not in a hurry. I checked my attribute panel. Cultivation. Refining tools, 7th level, 1709. 4000. Skill. 4th order alchemist. Spirit root. Fire attribute middle grade spiritual root, 787. 1000. Spiritual root of weapons, 799. 1000. The progress in cultivation over these 3 days has been quite rapid. Mainly the last 2 nights, my wife. They've done it 13 times. But they practiced together for 1 night. You can earn 91 cultivation points. Moreover, during the day, Liu Su assists her in her cultivation. It has only been 3 days. It increased by 400 points. However, the progress of the spiritual roots is getting slower and slower. Training several times. Only then can you obtain a little. As for the Dan Master realm, no matter how hard she practiced alchemy, the progress value has not appeared again. It seems that after reaching the 4th level, rely on self-cultivation. It is impossible to make further progress. Only hope lies after the stationing in the base. Heading to the northern wastes. Searching for the Immortal's hidden treasures. Take a look at the recipe for the Ice Heart Rejuvenation Elixir. Is there a secret manual for Dan Dao? Can help her make further progress in her path of Dan. The day before, Su Su went out to inquire again. Now there is news about the treasures of the North Wilderness Immortal. It has already spread throughout Yulin town. It's just rumored. The treasures left by the Immortal are limited. You must be stationed above the base to enter. This shattered the hopes of most lower-level cultivators. Qin Zhenyan could only reach the base first. Go to the northern wilderness again. Simply put, now she practices diligently every day, plus the boost from practicing with my wife. Can improve by about 90 points daily. If it is the refining phase, each level up requires an additional 1,000 points. It will take about 5 months to be stationed. At that time, I still have 4 years to live. It should be on time. Just thinking. Tong Jingyin pushed the door open and entered, smilingly clasping his hands. "Qin Daoliu, I sincerely apologize. A big shot just arrived. I have to go greet them. Sorry to keep you waiting." Qin Zhenyan smiled and cupped his hands in greeting. "Tong Zhangui is in serious trouble. I am here to deliver the elixir today." Great. The elixir refined by Qin Daoliu is of utmost importance. To be honest with you, the big shot who came today, it's the Western Moon sect urging for the elixirs." Tong Jinyin was overjoyed. Qin Zhenyan took out the 20 beads. "Continuously use the soul rejuvenation pill and 20 pieces of shattered jade fury pills." Tong Jinyin took a look around. Everyone praised Qin Daoliu's skill. Indeed, they are all high quality. These 5,200 snacks are worth it. Tong Jinyin readily. Have the guy bring over 5,200 snacks. Qin Zhenyan is also experiencing this for the first time. Seeing so many snacks. A hint of excitement in my heart. Store these snacks in the 0 gold after. So he got up to bid farewell to Tong Jinyin. This must be Master Qin Dan. Not bad looking. Older brother. Qin Zhenyan was just about to go out. The enchanting voice began to resonate. A captivating female cultivator. They walked in gracefully. Qin Zhenyan paused his footsteps. The gaze fell on the one who entered. This female cultivator, she had long wavy hair, in a pair of phoenix eyes, with an alluring charm, wearing the emblem of Jinnang's sect, the purple robe of the inner sect disciple, Ziyang. But this purple robe looks mismatched. The collar of the shirt is slightly open. A deep, secluded valley appeared. Under the purple robe, it seems a deliberate opening was made. The gaze of the purple robe, even the well-read Tong Jiangui, seeing her left him momentarily stunned. A sudden dry cough. Quickly retract your gaze. Respectfully bow. See Bei. The little person is just with this master Qin Dan. Transfer the elixir needed for the noble wind. Sorry to keep you waiting. Please forgive me. Manager Qin's words. It was said to that female cultivator. In fact, it is a reminder to Qin Zhengyan. This is the person I just mentioned. A big shot from the West Peak wind. Qin Zhengyan once stayed in Yinang City. This is also known as the Ziyang brocade robe. The meaning represented. I no longer dare to look at this female cultivator. He also bowed his head in greeting. I have met the seniors. 4 individuals dressed in blue walked up to Qin Zhengyan, bent down. He looked her up and down. That gaze from Qin Zhengyan was directed right at his chest. The collar is opened wider. The infinite scenery is all within sight. Qin Zhengyan immediately shifted his gaze. Step back slightly. Keep your distance from that strange female cultivator. Yes, in the eyes of others, perhaps the 4 blue are unmatched in grace, charming and captivating. But Qin Zhengyan recently, having just experienced the baptism of the clothing competition between my master and my mother, his vision has already surpassed that of an ordinary male cultivator. Once you return from painting the mountains, you won't look at them again. Having seen the breathtaking scenery of the master and the lady, looking at the other female cultivators, it really lacks a bit of color, even though the enchanting woman before me. However, Qin Zhengyan felt no stir in his heart. Your appearance and figure. My wife is vastly different from my master. There's nothing much to see anyway. Thinking to myself, one must still present a respectful demeanor on their face. 4 blue figures crossed their arms, looking at Qin Zhengyan with great interest. The voice became softer and more enchanting. Master Qin, there's no need to be formal. My name is Si Ming Lan. You can also call me Ming Lan, Qin Zhengyan said. So it was the 4 seniors. I've long heard of your great reputation. Today I meet my senior and speak first. The younger generation is fortunate in this lifetime. The name Lan Si Ming. Most male cultivators have heard of it. In the beauty rankings compiled by Tanxian Pavilion, the 4 blue positions ranked 20. The beauty list encompasses countless female cultivators from the 4 major regions. Can make the list and enter the top 20. She could be considered a beauty of her time. I just didn't expect it. This renowned and beautiful senior sister Ziyu Feng Sen. Such beauty it is. Qin Zhengyan was surprised. Signify tranquility. The 4 members of Lan Zi slightly narrowed their phoenix eyes. A trace of doubt flashed in his eyes. It's still the first time I've encountered this. The male cultivator is so calm when facing himself. Even that Tong Jiangui beside me. I just saw him looking completely mesmerized. It took quite a while to barely return to normal. At this moment, she was also secretly glancing at him. However, Qin Zhengyan completely ignored him. Hee, that's interesting. 4 blue walked up to the table. I looked down at the 43rd grade elixirs. Appreciation Road. This must be the elixir refined by Master Qin Dan. Indeed. Quality home. No wonder the senior master sister has mentioned you before. Qin Zhengyan was bent over. Bury your head even lower. The junior's cultivation is lacking. Alchemy is also about enduring strength. I can't bear such praise from a senior. Older brother, master kin, there's no need to be modest. Before I came out this time, my senior sister instructed me. We must sincerely thank the alchemist who refined the spirit medicine for Zai Yu Feng. Tonight I prepared a banquet at the Moon Shadow Pavilion. Masterkin Dan, please be sure to come. Wait for me to offer you well. The four blue voices were incredibly charming. But when it comes to the four words must come here, yet it exuded an undeniable authority. Tong Zhenggui's body trembled slightly. Cold sweat broke out on my forehead. Qin Zhengyun bent his waist even lower. This is the pinnacle of foundation building cultivation. No need to deliberately exert spiritual pressure. Just a sentence. It can make low-level cultivators tremble with fear. Qin Zhengyun knew he couldn't refuse. Respectfully said, "The four seniors have issued a decree. The younger generation will arrive on time for the appointment." After speaking, he clasped his hands again. "See, Kaianbei, the younger generation still has some trivial matters to handle. I will take my leave first. Then we'll see each other tonight." The four smiled faintly at him. Qin Zhengyun lowered his head and bent down, exited the room. The four blues sat down, crossing one's legs. A large section of snow white, toned leg muscle appeared. The nearby Tong Zhangui. My eyes are almost glued to it. The four blue ones didn't care. I was secretly muttering to myself, "This is Qin Zhengyun. Why do I have no reaction to myself at all? It seems. In the evening we have to sacrifice some beauty. I don't believe it. There are men in the world who are not fond of lust." Qin Zhengyun walked out of the Danfu building. The excitement of making a big profit from snacks, replaced by doubt and vigilance. That direct disciple of Ziyu Feng, Liu Feng. "It's been less than 2 months since I left. Here come four higher-ranking blues. Liu Feng should be at the cultivation level of around the first to third floor in the base. The four members of Lan are said to have reached the peak of their presence at the base. There are rumors in the community. This stunning and charming Shi Feng's third senior sister. The strongest is not cultivation, but a special cultivation method. But what exactly is this technique? Only those within the Jinyang sect or Ziyu Feng would know." Qin Zhengyun was puzzled. Why are these two inner disciples of Jinyang sect will consecutively arrive in Yunlin town? And looking at the way the four Lan were just now, it seems to be coming straight for me. I am just a third-tier alchemist, even if one can refine high-quality elixirs. To Jinyang Zong, it was nothing more than an ant. Why would the four esteemed Lan invite me to the banquet? Thank you for this evening's banquet. Still the Hongmen banquet. Qin Zhengyun was deep in thought. A clear voice called out from behind, "Uncle Qin." Qin Zhengyun turned back. Yet Fang Zhu was smiling brightly as she looked at him. At this moment Fang Zhu is wearing a water-green patterned dress, long hair to the waist. Liu Hai gently fell over his forehead. She looked exactly the same as when I saw her at Fang Keo's house that day. I just don't know how. Qin Zhengyun always felt there was something more in her eyes. "Fang Deyu, you came back to visit Uncle Fang and Auntie." Qin Zhengyun stepped forward with a smile and clasped his hands. Fang Zhu said. Qin Shu said, "I came with senior sister San to handle some business." Qin Zhengyun was upright, speechless. "You came with the fourth senior." Fang Zhu's pair of clear, dark eyes. A flicker of light flashed and vanished. The smile on her face remains bright and obedient. "Yes," Qin Shu said. "Have you already met my third senior sister?" Qin Zhengyun nodded. Just went to Danfu building to take care of some matters. Just happened to run into the four seniors. Truly a celestial beauty. A name well deserved. Third senior sister ranks 20th on the beauty list. She is indeed stunningly beautiful. However, Fang Zhu blinked her eyes. Seemingly pointed and authentic. I still think Sister Qiu is more beautiful. Qin Zhengyan laughed heartily. It seems that deist Fang indeed has a strong connection with my wife. Come over to my house for a visit when you have time. Definitely. Fang Zhu also smiled. The voice suddenly lowered. Qin Shu said, "At night in the Moon Shadow Pavilion. If something happens, you should think of Sister Qiu often." Si Minglin. Jiayu Zhan. Qin Zhengyan returned home. It is noon. River of Autumn. The meal is ready. A family of three sits down to eat. Qin Zhengyan spoke up, inviting Si Minglin. Liu Su opened her eyes wide. Sisters of the West Moon Wind. The beautiful woman on the list, Si Minglin. Well, what does your daughter-in-law look like? Qin Zhengyan said. Suzusu, what are you thinking about? Si Minglin is the third senior sister of Zai Yufeng. Why did she do it without reason? Please let this little wandering cultivator have a meal. I always feel like something is off. Autumn Riverbank. What does she look like? Qin Zhengyan, a righteous man. I didn't expect even my wife would ask this. Only answer. She looks somewhat charming, but the situation seems quite reckless. Look at the expression on Qiuji's face. Qin Zhengyan promptly added, in my opinion, far from close, my lady. The river in autumn appears calm. Added a piece of meat for Qin Zhengyan. Said softly, 20 on the beauty list. Nature is more beautiful than me. Words may be humble, but there is a sense of disdain, almost like a green snail is going away. Liu Su smirked silently. Qin Zhengyan helplessly asked, "That's right. Wife, I really can't figure it out. What does Si Minglin actually want to do?" The river of autumn fell silent for a moment, calmly stated, "It's okay for you to fade away at night. Just remember what your master taught you." "My master taught me." Qin Zhengyan was about to ask again. Autumn River Road. Si Minglin is skilled in flirtation. With that, he continued to eat his meal. Qin Zhengyan's face immediately broke into a smile. "Thank you for your guidance, my lady. I understand." Qiu Zhai, he added another piece of meat for her. "Come back soon." After finishing lunch, Qiu Ji tidies up the dishes and chopsticks. Liu Su accompanied her into the kitchen to wash the dishes together. Qin Zhengyan wants to help, but was sent away by Qiaji, he to practice solitary training. As Qin Zhengyan closed the door and began his training, Liu Su then smiled happily and said, "The son-in-law only knows. Si Minglin is ranked 20th on the beauty list." Yet little did they know the Saintess ranked second on the beauty list. If I tell the son-in-law, she must be scared to death. The beauty list of the Celestial Pavilion. Zaya Kinglian Roman II. Izu the third. Su Honglin the fourth. Si Minglin, who ranked 20th. I truly don't have the qualifications to compare with Zaya Kinglian. Zaya Kinglian Roman II. What is the relationship with the River of Autumn? Qiu Zhai, he was washing dishes, said lightly. Liu Su was taken aback, bending down to closely observe Qiu Zhi's expression. Suddenly burst into laughter. "Miss, I think that, even if it's the River of Autumn, if you ever get pregnant in the future, the belly of the River of Autumn has swollen." Yet Zaya Kinglian's belly grew larger. Qiu Zhai, he cast her a cold glance. Liu Su chuckled darkly. "Wes, men are always fond of the new and tired of the old. What if that Si Minglin has taken a liking to the son-in-law? I'm worried that my son-in-law may not be able to hold on to Genji. Autumn River sneered. It's just a low-level charm technique. I still don't take it seriously. Liu Su looked at her. A mischievous smile appeared on his face. Miss, I accidentally found myself in your room that day. I found a strange piece of clothing. The jacket fell to the ground. There are 2 pairs of transparent thin stockings. It can't be. You must have already trained your son-in-law to be indecisive. Oh dear. Miss, I was wrong. I won't dare again. Oh no. As night falls, the moon casts its shadow. In a private room called Yume. Sanshaiji. Uncle Kin is my father's friend. He and his wife are quite affectionate. If something were to happen to him, his wife will surely be heartbroken. Can you? Just questioning. Don't hurt him. Fang Zhu knelt before Si Minglin and pleaded. At this moment, Si Minglin. The purple silk robe has been changed, wearing a smoky butterfly dress. The jacket is embroidered with 2 colorful butterflies. Quite splendid, but the neckline of this dress is very low. The hemline is extremely high. Shang Zian Zugu. Lower lane jade legs. Even as a woman, Fang Zhu, I also dare not look directly. Such a seductive and enchanting Si Minglin. Fang Shaimai. What are you doing? If Master Qin Dan's heart is directed towards the righteous path, I naturally won't make it difficult for him. But if he is truly from the demon sect, do you still want me to let him go? Si Minglin squatted down, both hands supporting the fragrant cheeks, smilingly looking at Fang Zhu. Still say, Fang Shaimai already knew the identity of Qin Dan, yet still wants to protect him. Fang Zhu's body trembled, forehead pressed against the ground. Be serious and authentic. Third senior sister, I am a disciple of the Jinyang sect. How could one not know the main idea? Please don't make jokes like that anymore. Brother, all right. I'm not joking with you anymore. You can leave now. I am going to take a shower. Si Minglin got up. Unbutton the clothes. The colorful cloud of butterflies descends. Reveal the pale and stormy eyes. Third senior sister, Fang Zhu didn't expect him to take off just like that. A flush appeared on her face. Quickly pour. Uncle Kin is about to arrive. I'll stay outside to keep watch for you. No need. You haven't seen your parents for many days. Tonight, I'll allow you to go home. Si Minglin waved her hand. Just like this, completely naked. Stepped into the bathroom of the ceremony hall. Soon, a rushing sound of water echoed inside. Through the translucent Zen curtain, one can see a curvaceous body, already sitting in the bathtub. San Shaiji, I, still not leaving? That enchanting voice suddenly turned cold. Fang Zhu could only clasp her hands and comply. Exit the room, with a gritted tooth, leaping out of the moonlit tower, rushing home, with the cultivation of the third senior sister. If you hide to the side, it will also be discovered. I can only obey and leave. Fang Zhu felt worried. Together along the way, the charm of the third senior sister, she has seen it all. Once unleashed, no man can escape. It is said that, even among the members of the Jinyang sect, the senior brother with cultivation higher than the third senior sister, no one dares to be alone with her. I hope Uncle Kin. Can you get through this challenge? Fang Zhu had just left not long ago. Qin Zhengyan arrived at the Moon Shadow Pavilion. The guy approached with a beaming smile. Qin Zhengyan reported his name. He received the instructions from Si Minglin's assistant ahead of time. Immediately took her upstairs. Arriving at a private room. The senior is inside. Please help yourself. The buddy finished speaking and left. Qin Zhenyan looked up, the plat hanging in the private room. Shangshu Yu Mei. Qin Zhenyan was silent for a moment, finally raised a hand and knocked on the door. Seniorcy, I am Qin Zhenyan. A faint voice drifted from inside. Master Qin, someone has been waiting for you for a long time. Come in quickly. This voice sounds somewhat distant, yet exuding complete charm and allure. If it were another male cultivator, at this moment you must be wishing for a horse. But what Qin Zhenyan envisioned in his mind, it is the lady's cold elegance, and gentle and charming. To that deliberately enchanting voice, there was no feeling as I pushed the door open. I saw inside the private room. The table is already set. Sumptuous dishes and fine wine. On the ground, it was a set of colorful dresses. There were even women undressing. Qin Zhenyan was lost in thought. The sound of rushing water came from inside, and that seductive voice was almost dripping with sweetness. Qin Dan Master, I forgot to take the clothes. Can you help someone bring in the clothes? There are many types of enchanting techniques. There are many ways to showcase it. The name of the seductive technique that Siming Land practices is called the delusional charm water absorption technique. So-called false charm. It refers to using one's appearance and body to entice the target. The other party's lustful intentions are fully revealed. The moment desire becomes painful, unleash the technique. It can be effective with one strike. So-called water absorption. When reaching the highest level, not only can it capture the other's heart and mind, can also absorb the opponent's spiritual energy. Just like when we were in Wuxi town. Treat them the same way as the two alchemists. Let their eyes burst. Spiritual energy leakage. Thus consumed by oneself. Si Minglin has perfected this technique to its utmost. However, flattery is this aspect. It has already been achieved. Utilizing atmosphere and sound, can cast spells of charm, just like now. She deliberately chose to be with Qin Zhenyan, waiting before the upcoming event. Threw his clothes on the ground again, as Qin Zhenyan entered the private room. Seeing this scene, it is natural for ideas to arise in one's heart. Desire brings pain. When she spoke, at the moment when Qin Zhenyan brought in the clothes, her charm has already begun to take effect. At this moment, unless one's cultivation is vastly superior, otherwise no one will believe. Siminglan lay in the bathtub, fragrant pan-fried and half the landscape, all exposed on the water's surface, with a charming smile on her face. But her eyes were icy cold. During the day, she had already noticed. Qin Zhenyan seems a bit off. If she could resist her charm at this moment, that can almost be certain. This person must have a problem, normal difficulty to repair. No one can resist her charm. Siming Land's energy surged fiercely within her, ready to strike at any moment. The next moment, outside, Qin Zhenyan's dazed voice echoed. Yes, indeed, I fell for it. The killing intent surrounding Siming Land suddenly dissipated. The coldness in the eyes faded away. Looking with a smile at the curtain outside, Qin Zhenyan bent down, picked up the dress from the ground. Walking towards the bathroom, she walked with stiff steps, walked to the front of the curtain. Lifting a hand, he uncovered, walked to the edge of the bathtub, staring obsessively at Si Minglin. With both hands she lifted the dress. His eyes seemed to be on fire. Her expression was vacant. The gaze fell upon the pale valley of Siminglan, unblinking, so obedient. Si Minglin smiled. She didn't say anything. Carefully observed Qin Zhenyan. She wants to be sure. Is the other party truly under a spell? After all, during the day, Qin Zhengyan pretended not to notice her seduction. It's indeed a bit strange. Qin Zhengyan held the clothes in both hands, gazing intently at Si Minglin, skin submerged in the water. My eyes are almost falling out. Si Minglin wore a bewitching smile on her face, suddenly said, "Come in and wash together with them." "Yes." Qin Zhengyan nodded blankly. "Lift your foot and step into the tub." Lan's brother smiled and said, "Just teasing you. Do not enter." Qin Zhengyan's movement froze with his leg raised halfway. "Retrieve it stiffly. Continue to stand by the bathtub." Si Minglin suddenly let out a cold laugh. "I thought you were something special. Turns out he was just a lecherous fiend. Sure enough, all men are the same, damn it." He rested his head on the edge of the bathtub, looking up at the dazed Qin Zhengyan. "Her voice is charming. I ask you, where did you get the spiritual herbs for your alchemy?" Qin Zhengyan replied in a daze, "Ordered through someone else." Si Minglin asked again, "Who did you buy it from?" Qin Zhengyan's record, continuing to gaze at the snow-white valley. Answer, "I bought it from Mo Daiyu." "Who is Mo Daiyu?" Si Minglin asked. "Mo Daiyu is my neighbor. Others are very nice. I have always bought spiritual herbs from him." Qin Zhengyan answered without hesitation, "Where is your friend Mo Dao?" Si Minglin thought for a moment and asked, "Mo Daiyu was forced by Jukan to become his concubine. Do not say that my friend is unwilling. Already left Yulin town." "Hehe. It seems like he is also a pitiful person." Si Minglin nodded. The smile on her face became even more enchanting. "Who killed Luo Zhenfeng?" "I don't know." "Then the last question. Are you from the Kinglian sect?" Qin Zhengyan shook his head. "But disdain and exclusion. It's not meaningful anymore." Splash. Si Minglin stretched out a pair of lotus-like arms from the water's surface. "Pillow under the head. Many mountains and rivers have emerged above the water's surface." Her voice is enchanting. "Am I beautiful?" Qin Zhengyan immediately said, "Beautiful." Si Minglin beckoned him with a finger. "Do you want to have some fun with me?" Then Si Minglin stuck out her pink tongue, licked his lips. "What are you waiting for? Come on." "Yes." Qin Zhengyan's eyes widened. The flames in her eyes burned brighter. Eagerly leaning down, both hands reached towards the valley. Si Minglin looked at him. Charming smile. The gaze is icy. Just as Qin Zhengyan was about to touch his body, he suddenly spoke up. "You are alone. How many steps are there?" Qin Zhengyan's finger paused a few inches from the valley. Response, "Fourth stage. Fourth order. Then you still have some value." Si Minglin waved her hand. "Go out." "Yes." Qin Zhengyan replied with an acknowledgement, turned and walked out of the bathroom. Si Minglin closed her eyes. The whole body sank beneath the water's surface. Beh. Hee. A moment later, Si Minglin put on her dress. Stepping out of the bathroom, Qin Zhengyan stood there dumbfounded. He walked up to Qin Zhengyan. With a wave of his hand, "Release the charm." Qin Zhengyan with a blank expression. "Immediately recover." Seeing Si Minglin, he quickly bowed and greeted her. "I have met 4 senior elders." "Am I late?" Si Minglin's brother laughed. Qin Dan arrived just in time. "Sit down." "Thank you, Senior Si." Qin Zhengyan politely expressed his gratitude. She sat down opposite him. "A bit reserved." Si Minglin sneered inwardly. "Those eyes just now. I wish I could hang it on myself." Regained consciousness. Immediately pretended to be shocked. Men are indeed so hypocritical and disgusting. Since Qin Zhengyan's suspicion has been ruled out, Si Minglin was too lazy to waste any more time. chatted casually for a bit. He said he was going back to the inn to rest. Qin Zhengyan quickly got up to take his leave. Before leaving, it seems hard to resist temptation. He secretly glanced at Si Minglin's chest again. Si Minglin couldn't be bothered to pay attention. Take Qin Zhengyan far away. He raised his glass. Down in one. Then he took out a transmission talisman. Said it TZ once. The recent interrogation of Qin Zhengyan. On the communication talisman, Yiziu's answer came quickly. "Where is her wife?" Siminglin replied, "Senior sister. She has already explained the origin of Lin Cao. It should be fine now. Xia Qinglian is truly not dead. It's unlikely that she would marry a loose cultivator." She seemed somewhat unconvinced. Qin Zhengyan fell under her charm. "I will never tell a lie," Yiziu said. "Maybe someone can resist your charm. Try her one more time." Si Minglin let out a chuckle, replying, "Understood. Then I'll play with her a bit more. Put down the communication talisman." Siminglin shook her head and scoffed. "Senior sister, you are also confused." Half a street away from the Moonshadow Pavilion, Qin Zhengyan had already walked a long way out. Let out a breath. Wiped the sweat from his forehead. That was close. This woman is of mediocre beauty. Magic won't work either. Still insisting that I pretend to be infatuated with her. What a sin! Qin Zhengyan walked away. Under the moonlight, on the rooftop across from the Moonlight Pavilion, a red figure flashed by. Silently, rushing towards the direction of Zheyu Alley. Qin Zhengyan returned to Zheyu Alley, pushed the door and entered the room. Liu Su sat at the table, propping his chin on his hand. The little head is nodding down. Heard the sound of the door opening. She suddenly raised her head. She complained to Qin Zhengyan. "Son-in-law, how did you come back?" Qin Zhengyan apologized. "I'm sorry. Su, you have been waiting for me." Liu Su let out a snort. "Who is waiting for you?" "I overate at dinner. Just can't sleep. I went back to the house." After speaking, he apologetically entered the alchemy chamber. The door slammed shut with a bang. Qin Zhengyan shook his head and smiled. "Walk to the bedroom door. Gently push open the door. It is pitch black inside. I think my wife has already fallen asleep." She tiptoed inside. Suddenly a cold voice came from the bed. "When did you come back?" "All right. The two women at home have the same problem," Qin Zhengyan helplessly said. "Why, as you expected. Siming Lan used charm magic on me. I had to pretend to be serious to deal with her. The matter has been delayed a bit. In the dark, a petite figure can be faintly seen, sitting up with the blanket wrapped around me. Those clear, bright eyes, flickering with a cold light. How does she cast her charm on you?" Qin Zhengyan took off his outer garment. "Just getting ready for bed." But the river of autumn spoke coldly. "Have you gone to bed?" Qin Zhengyan's actions came to a halt. A bitter smile, only able to stand by the bed, be honest and straightforward. Siming Lan demonstrated the process of casting her charm. She is taking a shower. You were asked to bring her the clothes inside. The sound of the autumn river is like ancient ice. Then you just went in. Qin Zhengyan quickly said, "My wife is wronged." At that time, she had already unleashed her charm. If I don't go in, it will definitely raise her suspicions. The silent moment of the autumn river again asked, "What did you see?" But Qin Zhengyan was momentarily taken aback. "You entered the bathing room of Si Minglan. What did you see?" The river of autumn coldly asked again. Qin Zhengyan could only say, "I just saw. She is taking a bath in the tub. Uncle and nephew. Qin Zhengyan felt the air around him. It seems to have grown a bit colder. She quickly added, "Lady, don't worry. I have been watching her all along, but all I think about is you. You kept looking at her. The sound of the autumn river is terrifyingly calm." Asked softly, "How long have you been watching?" Qin Zhengyan wiped the sweat from his forehead, hurriedly said, "No, I didn't watch for long. Not wife. Her body is fully in the water. Can't see clearly. Really." Kyujai, he suddenly let out a cold laugh. "You want to see it more clearly." Uh, Qin Zhengyan can no longer speak. Take a bold step. Jumped onto the bed. Directly Hud Kiarihi. "Wife, in my heart there is truly only you. Nasminglin is in my heart, like a living corpse, not as good as a single strand of your hair." The autumn river struggles twice, hearing her words. Suddenly the strength diminished, but still turned his head away, unwilling to look at her. Said coldly, smooth-tongued, the voice has clearly softened a bit. Qin Zhengyan's current courage. It's getting bigger and bigger. Take an inch, want a foot. Lean down. Directly seek the soft lips of the lady. With the autumn river suddenly desires to attack. Uncle and younger brother opened their eyes wide, but the whole body, already tightly held by him, strength seemed to be drawn out from that blocked, intimate area. "Let's go." After a moment, he closed his eyes. Renyu Qin pressed down on him. 300 breaths later, the softness of autumn river being held in Qin arms. A small hand weakly pounded on his chest. "You are becoming bolder now. If it were a few months ago, no one dares to treat him this way. Long ago, they were reduced to ashes. But now, even if I am angry, to be casually coaxed by this man, the heart can no longer harden." Q's heart was filled with confusion. Yet there is a soft, warm feeling. This feeling is so addictive. It also filled him with fear. If this continues for a long time, can I still become Zaya Kinglian again? Maiden, everything I said is the truth. At Siming Lan, though claimed to be ranked 20th on the beauty list, but compared to you, but merely a common, ordinary person, unbearable to look at. Qin Zhengyan wrapped his arms around Qiu Jing's waist, softly whispered in his ear, "No, even if it's Donxiu, Zai Huan, Amo, in the 4 regions of the northern wilderness, no one can compare to you." The sweetness in the heart of autumn river, the body becomes increasingly soft. Looking up at her husband, can't help but hum softly. "What about your master?" Qin Zhengyan said, "It's right." Sighing helplessly, "Why, I still understand the principles of human relationships. I have only respect for my master. Absolutely no ulterior motives." HMPH. The river of autumn let out a soft hum. "Do you die down? Do you know? The beauty list features the most stunning people in the world. If you really encounter it, Jinyang Clan Izeu, the immortal Su Honglin from the Thunder Sword sect, can you still hold on?" Qin Zhengyan chuckled. "Others see them as fairies, but the fairy in my heart. Only my wife is here." Kyuji gently shifted her body, snuggled up against Qin Zhengyan's embrace. The corners of my mouth lifted uncontrollably. Suddenly thought of someone. The smile on her face vanished. "Do you know who is the first on the beauty list? The beauty rankings have only been announced up to now. The second ranked holy maiden of the Demon Gate, Zaya Kinglian. Never mentioned the first one." Qin Zhengyan shook his head. The river of autumn fell silent for a moment, whispered about the number 1 beauty on the list. "In the northern wilderness." Northern wilderness. Qin Zhengyan was somewhat surprised. The most beautiful woman in the world. would actually be in such a desolate place. The sound of the autumn river. Suddenly it became icy. Didn't you say I was in your heart? Is it the most beautiful in the world? Qin Zhengyan smiled bitterly, hurriedly said, "Blythe, you brought up the beauty list. I have no interest in these at all." After a long while of coaxing, the river of autumn has finally stopped being angry. But for tonight, the enchanting matter of Si Minglan and Qin Zhengyan still haven't let go. The people of Zhenang's sect are very suspicious. Since Si Minglan has arrived, will not easily leave. She might give you another try. Qin Zhengyan said, "One is right." Helplessly. "Then I'll set it up again." Quzhai, he let out a cold snort. Magic is inherently a double-edged sword. If arranged properly, can also counter the practitioners of the art. "Why, do you mean?" Qin Zhengyan was shocked. "You want me to counter Si Minglan. He intends to harm you. You counter him. What's wrong?" The river of autumn flows coldly. Reluctant to part. He let out a sigh, unbelievably touching my own perky behind. You, you hit me." Qin Zhengyan also made a sound of disdain. "Who made you suspect out of the blue? If it happens again next time, I will impose a heavier punishment." After speaking, they surprisingly started fighting again. Aim at the butt of the autumn river. It looks like it needs to be hit again. You, the river of autumn has a hint. Intense. I am the holy maiden of the Kinglian sect. I was actually spanked like a little child. He felt an overwhelming sense of shame and anger, about to erupt. Qin Zhengyan hugged him again. "Wife, you can rest assured. In the future, no matter who I meet, even if it's the top beauty on the list, I won't even give him a second glance." The river of autumn opens its mouth to speak. Her lips were once again covered by Qin Zhengyan's mouth. So, his heart softened again. The body also began to soften. After 300 breaths, Qin Zhengyan embraced Qiuji. "Finally, we are talking about serious matters again. Why, you said you want to counter Si Minglan. What should we do?" In this moment, the river of autumn is filled with tenderness. I had long forgotten the incident where that guy slapped him on the backside, leaning softly in his arms. Feng Hui Zhen, weakened in the environment, connected to your spiritual power. Someone has cast a spell on you. Mind control and other dark arts. You can counter his formation. I will. One day, early morning, King Luo Alley, Feng family, child, you should hurry back to the inn. Your third senior sister allows you to return for one night. It is already a great blessing. One must not lose sight of the rules. Aye. Fang Kao coughed, while speaking to his daughter Fang Zhu. Fang Zhu suddenly came home last night. The old couple was overjoyed, yet felt an overwhelming sense of fear. Fang Kao in his youth. I spent quite some time in Jinnang City, knowing well the strict rules of the large sects. If one enters a sect, one must sever mundane affections. Si Fangsu had just entered the sect not long ago. Bian returned home to visit family twice in a row. Current affairs taboo. After the daughter returned home and stayed for one night, Fang Kao urged her, "Go back and find her third senior sister. Grandfather, your body has become so weak. I want to spend more time with you and your mother for half a day." Fang Zhu supported Fang Kao, seeing my father's expression. "Since the last time I returned by myself, a few more points are missing. The whole person has lost a lot of weight." A deep sadness welled up within. This is clearly a sign that the end is near. But my cultivation is so low. Don't talk about wanting our parents to live forever. even after my father's death. The method of storing his soul. Could not find any. I desperately made my way into Jinyang's sect. What is it all for? Fang Zhu's clear eyes glistened with tears. Fang Keo gently stroked his daughter's embroidered hair, smiled and said, "Don't worry about me, daughter. Kindayu and Fan Lai Dayu often brings me some useless elixirs. My body does not have a lot of ocean." Fang Zhu bit her lip, suddenly said, "Grandfather, after I returned, I went to find the ice heart rejuvenation pill. First, remove the toxin from your body. I will find a way to help you recover. In order to earn some temporary income, pay the tuition fees for Fang Zhu at the Linyuan Academy. Fang Keo has been engaged in alchemy for many years. The internal toxin has penetrated deeply, can live for so long. It is already relying on witnessing my daughter. The cultivation of one's mind supports the achievement. Fang Zhu certainly knows this. Jinyang's sect naturally has the ice heart rejuvenation pill. Only the elder or Yi Ziu. Only individuals with this identity are qualified to use it. Ordinary inner door disciple, not even qualified to take a glance, let alone outer disciples like Fang Zhu. Hearing what my daughter said, Fang Keo angrily shouted, "Hooliganism! You just entered the sect. Unsteady footing. Absolutely do not act recklessly. This matter is no longer heavenly." Fang Zhu was sternly reprimanded by her father, the town chief. Tears streamed down suddenly. "However, grandfather, you and mother have worked hard for many years. Take me to Jinyang clan. In the end, I can only watch you helplessly." Fang Keo pushed Fang Zhu away, pushed her out the door. "Lishen Dao, do you know how many cultivators spend their entire lives in poverty? It is difficult to catch a glimpse of the mountain gate of Jinnangzong. You can enter Jinyang Temple. I am luckier than countless others. Even if grandfather has gone to the underworld, it can also be reported to the ancestors of the Fang family. If you don't listen, I will no longer acknowledge you as my daughter." With a huff, they slammed the door shut. "Grandfather, grandfather!" "Ma!" The sound of my daughter crying came from outside. Fang Keo's body trembled, tears streaming down my face. Coughing violently, the wife beside her stepped forward to support her. Tears brimmed in the eyes. "Husband, I I can't bear to part with Zio Zhu." Fang Keo held his wife. Sighed, "Daughter has a bright future ahead. From now on, you will be a dragon among men and a phoenix among women. We are stuck in the quagmire. Never allow filth to stain the daughter." "Yes, yes, I understand. I—" Inside the door, the couple embraced and cried. Outside the door, Fang Zhu's tears streamed down her face. Slowly kneeled down, bowing deeply. "Grandpa, I will definitely obtain the Binkson revitalization pill. I will definitely find the method for immortality. As long as our family is together, can be together forever. Hinyang sect or Kinglian sect, I don't care at all." Bowed 3 times. Fang Zhu got up. "There are no tears left on my face." Turning to walk towards the Taylor Street locked by senior sister San. Just walked out of Kingliuo Alley. Fang Zhu paused her footsteps. A look of surprise appeared on her face. "Uncle Qin." He stepped forward 2 paces and exclaimed with joy, "You're okay." Qin Zhenyan was surprised. "What can I do?" Fang Zhu realized. Hurriedly said, "It's nothing. Uncle Qin, I just saw that you were a bit happy." Qin Zhenyan smiled and said, "Friend Fang, I came to find you because I have something to entrust to you." He dropped an invitation on the ground. Fang Zhu took it with confusion. I opened it and took a look. Could not help but exclaim, "Uncle Kin, you need to invite senior sister San back." This invitation says, "Yesterday I was graciously hosted by Senior Tan. Endless gratitude. Not expressing gratitude. Tonight's illusion and reality. The Moon Shadow Pavilion hosts a banquet. Pan Si, the senior Lai Ling." Qin Zhengyan nodded slightly. "Fang Deiyu, please take this invitation. Leave it to Senior Si." Fang Zhu quickly said, "Uncle Qin, actually last night Senior Sister San cast upon you." "Xiao Zhu," Qin Zhengyan interrupted him, smiled and said, "You are an outer sect disciple of the Zhenyang clan. Bright future. Be careful with your words and actions. Don't let Uncle Fang down. The expectations your aunt has for you. Fang Zuzhen is helping." Eyes redden once again, then deeply towards Qin Zhengyan, bowing respectfully. "Uncle Qin, I understand. I fell down." Qin Zhengyan said, "If possible, I will try to help Uncle Fang find an ice heart rejuvenation pill." Qin Shu said. Fang Zhu stayed again. The next moment, his uncle knelt on both knees. Zhang King Zhengyan pays homage and praise. "If Uncle Qin can save my father, I am willing to work like a horse or an ox, to be a servant or a slave." Qin Zhengyan hurriedly helped him up. "Xiao Zhu, don't be like this. I can only do my best. Not necessarily able to do it. No matter what, my words today will always hold true." Uncle Qin said. Fang Zhu hesitated for a moment, whispered, "You need to be careful of San Shaiji." After speaking, he bowed again. Only then did he turn and leave. Looking at his somewhat youthful silhouette, Qin Zhengyan sighed. Part of a child. Why does it seem so out of place with Innang sect? Fang Zhu returned to the inn. Qin Zhengyan's invitation, handed over to Si Minglin, then exited the room. Si Minglin looked at the invitation. A strange smile appeared on his face. Unexpectedly fell into the trap. Just right. Saved me a lot of trouble. He got up and walked to a mirror. Looking at the enchanting figure of the wicked servant in the mirror, Jej smiled. Indeed, the more one pretends to be a virtuous person, the more hypocritical, the more lecherous. This Qin Zhengyan is the same. Qin Zhengyan's arm swung. A uniquely styled piece of clothing flew onto his hand. "Tonight, I'll give you a little reward." Evening, Yuing Tower. Again, it's the private room called Yu Mei. Qin Zhengyan sat in the room. The table is already filled with chides. The same place. Last night he was a guest. Tonight, however, has turned into the master. Same. Last night he was the prey. Tonight he has become the hunter. Qin Zhengyan looked at a bronze mirror not far from the table. It seems normal. But in the mirror, already taken by the river of autumn, sailed into the peaks and turns. This formation has no offensive capability. There was not the slightest fluctuation of spiritual energy. It is only connected with Qin Zhengyan's consciousness. If Qin Zhengyan was subjected to a spell and successfully fend off, the mirror array will be activated, instantly countered the caster. On the moonlit balcony, in a private room called Moon Shadow. This, you can rest assured. I'll use the dragon scale, later, quietly sneaking downstairs to keep an eye on them. Ensure that the son-in-law doesn't cheat. Liu Su looked excited. With a smile, they said to Qiu Zhai He. During the day today, Qin Zhengyan, River of Autumn, he and Liu Su with 3 people, has arrived early at the Moonshadow Pavilion, the autumn river in the copper mirror of the moon's charm room. The peak turn formation is set up, and taught Qin Zhengyan. How to connect spiritual power with the peak formation. As long as Siminglan uses her charm at night, Qin Zhengyan can initiate the peak turn formation. Counter him. The mystery of this formation lies in, if not activated, there won't be any fluctuation of spiritual energy. It will never be discovered. Even if it starts, in an instant, it can immobilize the target's consciousness, even after waking up later. For the target, it was just a fleeting moment. It's extremely difficult to detect any discrepancies. Teach Qin Zhengyan, waiting for Siminglan to arrive in the private room. However, just a few steps out of the moon shadow pavilion, Qiuji turned back with Liu Su. I went upstairs and booked this moon shadow room, although everything has been arranged properly. But Siminglan is, after all, at the peak of the foundation establishment stage. Qiuji still felt uneasy. If Siminglan didn't use her charm techniques, but directly take action, he was willing to expose Xia Qinglian's identity. We must also save Qin Zhengyan and Liu Su's dragon scale eyes. It's the best surveillance tool. This moment has reached its end. The autumn river sits quietly. The round face was icy cold. He understands the art of charm himself. Naturally know what to do with the target when casting. Nasminled. What does she look like? The river of autumn suddenly spoke. The battle when the three major sects destroyed the Qinglian sect. Qiu Zhai he did not see Siminglan. The identity of this beauty ranked 20th is still unknown. What should one's appearance and figure be like? Liu Su smiled slyly. Suddenly approached Qiu Zhai. What to do? Qiu Zhi's delicate eyebrows slightly furrowed. Liu Su said with a smile, I heard that. That Siminglan looks like a vixen. Very alluring. Miss, have you heard about it? Wild flowers smell sweeter than garden flowers. Siminglan may not be as beautiful as you, but she's flirty. The son-in-law has never seen such a vixen. Maybe she won't fall under the charm later. Yet it feels like being enchanted. Qiu Zhai, he coldly looked at her. If there were more words. You can't stay here. Liu Su is not afraid at all. Holding onto the arm of the river in autumn. Miss, you can't drive me away. I lost my dragon scale eyes. How can you tell if the son-in-law has swapped it out? Qiuji no longer paid her any attention. A moment of silence. Suddenly said, she has already avoided a spell of enchantment. Just replay it once. No need to take risks to counter Siminglan. Why should she listen to me? Is it possible? The river of autumn paused. Continue the story. She never doubted me. Liu Su was reminded by her like this. Suddenly jumped up. That's right. It is said that the son-in-law was just a wandering cultivator. To the disciples of Jinyang sect, relying on one's own ability to avoid, one avoids. It's simply impossible to take the initiative to provoke, let alone countering the opponent with a daring move. Qiu Zhai, he clutched her dress tightly. She must have guessed. I am not an ordinary monk. But why don't you leave me? Nature likes you. Saint Maiden. Liu Su shrugged. I see. That guy did it for you. I'm afraid they would even dare to enter the demon gate. Don't say things like that anymore. Qiuji coldly looked at Liu Su. I would rather she entered in Yangzong. Nor did they want her to end up like her master. Sister, just like underground. While Saint Maiden, if she really joined the Jinyang sect, then it becomes your enemy. Liu Su quickly said. Qiuji pursed her lips, but no longer spoke. Sigh. Liu Su sighed, holding up my chin with both hands. I muttered to myself, they are all love-struck. Headache. Here it comes. The river of autumn suddenly spoke. Liu Sui led. Saint's gift, a sword. The spirit technique is truly unmatched in the world, even if the cultivation is high, sister. But this extraordinary ability, but it will not weaken. She immediately activated the dragon scale eye. Look downstairs. The next moment, she stands before the river of autumn. Then a cluster of light and shadow appeared. It was as if a screen was projecting images. At this moment, it is exactly the situation downstairs. In the light and shadow of the screen, the door is pushed open. Simon Lan walked in gracefully, waist twisting, mist and enchantment, like a captivating fox spirit. Well, this woman is so shameless. The autumn river's expression turned cold. Liu Su also cried out. The woman is wearing a strappy sheer dress. The neckline is very low. She walked in front of Qin Zhenyan. He even deliberately bent down, even though I was mentally prepared. But Qiuzhe became tense all of a sudden, fingers resting on the thighs, deeply trapped in the flesh of the legs. Master Qin Dan, hearing your invitation. They don't know how happy they are. Simon Lan continues to be shameless. Her body was almost pressed against Qin Zhenyan's. The sound seemed like it was about to drip water. Death. Liu Su couldn't take it anymore. This is really shameless, isn't it? Qiuzhe's face was gloomy. It seemed that flames had ignited in the eyes. Fortunately, Qin Zhenyan did not overstep. Step back, bowing in respect. Senior C, you're too polite. Last night, my senior treated me generously. As a return gift, the younger generation should naturally host a banquet to invite. I like men who are as polite as you. Brother, the Simon Blue Book team stepped forward. Jingba Qin Zhenyan was shot to death against the wall. The two bodies were pressed closely together. Qin Zhenyan suddenly had nowhere to escape. Oh my, this woman is skilled. Liu Su exclaimed in surprise while covering her face. Suddenly felt the surroundings alternately freezing cold and intensely hot. He quickly grabbed Qiuzhe. Saintess, stay calm. Never act on impulse. At this moment, Qin Zhenyan struggled under the intense pressure from Simon Lan. Broke free. Bonshu Dao, Senior, please have some self-respect. How about we sit down and chat while we eat? Simon Lan raised her hand, the breeze lingering. With her bright red lips, she said, "Oh no, I suddenly feel so hot. Master Qin, don't be anxious. Is it okay for someone to take a shower first? The autumn river flows coldly. Old tricks are used again. Wasted effort." But I saw Si Ming Lan walking towards the bathroom in the private room. Suddenly stopped, turning towards Qin Zhenyan. Finished speaking. Suddenly, with a swipe, swallow the dress worn on the outside. Show the clothes inside. Liu Su covered her mouth with both hands. The eyes bulged wide. Qiuzhe's cheeks turned red. Gnashing of teeth. This kind of clothing. The river of autumn is very familiar. Isn't this tailoring? Liu Su stared in disbelief, unable to help but look towards the river of autumn. This style of clothing alteration. I seem to have seen it in the saint's room. So now Simon Lan is using the method of a holy maiden's cloth, here to tempt the son-in-law. However, the blue of the four Ming is so captivating in the rain and wind. The feeling of wearing tailored clothes. She should be completely different from the Saintess. Can the son-in-law hold up? In the image of the light orb, Qin Zhenyan also seemed mesmerized. Gazing intently at Simon Lan, Simon Lan twisted the cat cloth and walked towards Qin Zhenyan. The laughter is enchanting and alluring. The two bodies drew closer. The next moment, the light cluster formed by the dragon scale eyes dissipates. Kyujit looked at Liu Su. The gaze seemed to devour. Liu Su innocently shrugged. Miss, I've exhausted all my spiritual energy. Kyujai Hishudai raised her hand. More than 10 pieces of spirit essence were tossed in front of Liu Su. The sound of crackling fills the air. The spirit essence is completely shattered. In an instant, the room was filled with spiritual energy. Now the spiritual power is sufficient, right? The autumn river flows coldly. Enough. Liu Su saw that the Saintess was really anxious. Dare not laugh any more. Quickly sat cross-legged, absorbing spiritual energy. Once again used the dragon scale eye. A light orb reappeared in the sky. Reveal the situation in the beauty suite downstairs. Only saw Si Minglan dressed in elegant clothes. Jing Quanquan walked towards Qin Zhengyan. However, Qin Zhengyan looked completely dazed, gazing intently at Si Minglan's body. Oh, could it be that the son-in-law really fell for it? Liu Su exclaimed. The expression on Kyujit's face was icy. She hurriedly comforted. Saint, please don't be angry. This vixen is too flirtatious. No man can withstand it. Don't blame the son-in-law. The autumn river's fists are tightly clenched. On the fair and delicate back of her hand, the veins bulged out. I should have known better than to let her retaliate. The sky has turned blue. Autumn River feels regret in her heart. Look at that flirtatious fox. Getting closer to her husband. She brushed her hair and got up. Liu Su quickly hugged her leg. Saint Maiden, calm down. You can't go down. Going down will expose us. At this moment, a sudden change occurred downstairs. In the copper mirror hanging by the door, suddenly a faint glimmer of light appeared. Tsai Ming-lan's captivating and alluring presence suddenly froze. Hands hanging down. The windfish stood still in place. Pupils dilate. Expressionless. From a charming fox spirit became a mindless zombie, and Qin Dayan's eyes regained their spirit. But she remained calm and composed, pretending to be confused while looking at Tsai Ming-blue, until confirmed. Tsai Ming-lan was truly bitten by her own charm. This is when I finally relaxed. Slowly walked up to see Ming-lan. Sighed. Everything is fine and well decorated. Why do such shameless things? After speaking, he picked up the outer garment that Si Ming-lan had just taken off. Help her get dressed. Blocked out that vast spring light. Saint Maiden, Saintess, the son-in-law is fine. I knew it. The son-in-law is with you every day. Why would anyone be interested in Si Ming-lan, such a mundane and common color? Kyujai, he let out a sigh of relief. Slowly sit down. Gave Liu Su a cold glance. Liu Su stuck out his tongue. He a smile. Let's continue watching the show. Qin Zhengyan took a stool. Sit down in front of Si Ming-lan. Cautiously asked a question. Si Qianbei, are you okay? It's nothing. It's really alarming. Si Ming-lan replied blankly. Qin Zhengyan asked again. Who are you? Tsai Ming-lan's answer was unexpected. I am the daughter of General Si Yuan-wu of the Western Dynasty. Si Ming-lan. Qin Zhengyan Yi Zhen. The autumn river upstairs exchanged glances with Liu Su. Liu Su Dao. Isn't the Western Dynasty the ruler of the Western lands? Tsai Ming-lan surprisingly comes from the Western Dynasty. This world is divided into 4 realms. Dongzhiu, Zaihuan, Anna, Beihuan. Among them, Dongzhiu is led by the 3 major sects. It is a gathering place for righteous cultivators. Namelyi Kinglian men. Qian Mountain, Tianyan sect is supreme, occupied by the so-called Mormon monks. Beihuang is the 10,000 great mountains, countless savage tribes. there is no true ruler. As for the Western Emperor, it is the gathering place of ordinary humans. The secular dynasty is revered. Zai Huang dynasty is the ruler of this region, though it is a mundane place. But the Western dynasty, yet there are ancient artifacts left by our ancestors, and there are cultivators from the other three realms, assistants in the shadows. Thus it can always parallel the four realms, not to be slaughtered or annexed. For Emperor's dynasty, the inheritance has lasted for thousands of years, standing firm and unyielding. There are also many royal offspring. Go to the east to study the scriptures of the three major sects. The daughter of the great general Si Minglin, entering the town to cultivate at Yangzhong. It's not surprising. Liu Su was surprised that Si Minglin is the daughter of the great general. The tutoring is naturally strict. How could such behavior be so reckless and shameless? Qin Zhengyan clearly had the same thought, looking at Si Minglin with confusion and suspicion. No longer entangled in her background, it is confirmed that Si Minglin has been subdued. This is when they inquired about the River of Autumn. Explain her main business. Why was the sect competition in Innang held early? Si Minglin replied, "The master is dead. Yi Ziyu is severely injured. Ziyu Wei Da die. The other five want to seize the elder's position. So they took the opportunity to hold the grand competition inside earlier." This answer. It is indeed similar to the rumors circulating before. But Qin Zhengyan's next question. It involves the secrets of the Jinyang clan. This matter. Is the leader of Jinyangzong not taking action? Si Minglin replied in a dazed voice. After the sect leaders' siege against the demon sect, yet to make an appearance. Current affairs within the sect. It was decided by the 6 elders. Qin Zhengyan followed the instructions given by Qiuzhi last night. Ask again. How is Yi Ziyu's injury? Si Minglin's eyes were motionless. Open your mouth and answer. Yi Ziyu is seriously injured. The cultivation level has fallen to foundation establishment. Qin Zhengyan continued to ask. In this way, this time, the competition within the gates. Isn't your West Moon Fang already destined to lose? Not necessarily. Why? Si Minglin's red lips parted like a river. Speak the words. Yet it left Qin Zhengyan astonished. Among the 5 great seals, except for the Danxia seal and the Sword Seed seal, the remaining 3 elders wanted to seek dual cultivation with Yi Ziyu. As long as he agrees, these 3 old lichers will help him win. What? Qin Zhengyan opened his mouth wide, stunned and speechless. Isn't Innang sect one of your major sects? The elder actually forced the female disciple to practice dual cultivation. He only felt that the 3 barriers were about to be overturned. Quickly asked, Did Yi Ziyu agree? Si Minglin replied, I don't know. Wang Yufeng is quite chubby. A few days ago, Ziyu Feng came to find Yi Ziyu. It forces him to take a stand. Yi Ziyu has always been self-righteous. I fear I can't bear this humiliation. His expression was blank, but the words were filled with disdain. It seems there is also considerable dissatisfaction towards senior sister Yi Ziyu. Qin Zhengyan took a while to digest it. My emotions gradually calmed down. Suddenly remembered a phrase from my past life. Could not help but exclaim, the circle of Gui is really chaotic. He composed himself. Continue the interrogation. Then you come to Yulin town. What is it for? Si Minglin immediately replied. Yi Ziyu sent me to investigate the murder of Liu Zhenfeng and the murderer of those more than 10 inner disciples. He suspected it was the work of remnants of the demon sect. Yi Ziyu has gone mad. I always thought that the holy maiden of the demon gate, Zaya Qinglian, was still alive. I see her as an extremely pure and innocent beauty. His cultivation level is higher than hers, more beautiful than her. Even in death they still won't rest. Kinjengyan has already gotten somewhat used to it. This enchanting sorceress has made her controversial remarks, just a little surprised. That was just the disciple Yuo Jinfeng who unexpectedly died. He hurriedly asked, "What did you find out?" Si Minglan then went to Wuxi town, recounted the process of investigating in Yunlin Township. I heard he actually used enchantment to disable 2 alchemists. Qin Zhenyan couldn't help but feel a bit angry. Questioned, "Since you have already confirmed that those 2 alchemists are innocent, why resort to poisoning? You are a disciple of a prestigious sect." Si Minglan replied, "No man is a good thing. It should be exterminated completely." He said it without hesitation. Taken for granted, Qin Zhengyun felt a surge of fear. You skillfully use charm to entice men. But why hate men so much? Si Minglan opened her mouth. Struggles appeared in his eyes. There are signs of breaking through the charm countermeasures. Clearly, this issue touched the depths of his heart. It sparked a strong reaction. Qin Zhengyun quickly urged his spiritual power. The peaks in the mirror shine with great brilliance. Finally, I have regained control over Si Minglan. He fell back into a daze again. Jiang Ku Dao, because I was violated by a man when I was 16, treated like a dog and abused by countless men. They don't treat me like a person. I will torment them, eliminate them all. 158 and 160 were blocked. Applying for unblocking. Yuing Tower. Moon's charm. Qin Zhenyan stood with his mouth open, staring blankly at the expressionless Si Minglan. This free-spirited child. Shameless woman. I can't believe there are such tragic experiences. Upstairs, between the moonlight, this woman must have woken up a long time ago. You're lying. Liu Su also opened his mouth wide. Hard to believe. Si Minglan is so enchanting and bold, licentious and shameless. She is simply a born schemer. How to look at it? It doesn't seem like something that happened in childhood. The autumn river flows coldly. There are so many tragedies in the world. My hands are stained with the blood of Kinglian men. There are no innocents. Downstairs, Si Minglan continued. My grandfather is the Grand General of the Western Empire. Countless merits. But the emperor was wary of him. They framed him with charges of treason and betrayal. I will have my family wiped out. I am the youngest daughter of my father. The emperor did not want to bear the brutal reputation. Didn't kill me, yet sent me to the teaching office. Degraded to a government courtesan. A few years later, wait until I become an adult, was insulted by the current prime minister. Later, every night, they all have to serve different men. They all enjoy tormenting me. I am bruised every day. I attempted to end my life several times, always rescued back. Then came the even more cruel humiliation. Those ministers, with kind and gentle eyes, hypocritical facade, being outdone by my brother feels worse than being a beast of desire. I have countless sisters around me, tortured to death by them. Only I, the emperor said, my father is guilty of heinous crimes. I must plan for a lifetime, cannot have a good ending. That's why they never killed me. Later, I stole a dagger, killed the prime minister who has come to humiliate me again. I will dismember him into 8 pieces, thrown into the frozen meat storage of the brothel, then using his token, escaped from the Western Imperial city. The emperor sent someone to chase me. I jumped off the cliff. Anyway, I'm dead. It's better than continuing to be humiliated by others. Master Sang Yu passed by. saved me, take me to Zhendang Mountain, healed all the scars on my body, and also teach me how to cultivate. My master said my cultivation talent is exceptional, not inferior to the night play. It's just that the inner demons are too heavy. In this life, I cannot break through the foundation establishment. He asked me if I was willing to learn the art of enchantment. I was born to be a courtesan, as long as I can kill all my enemies, kill all the men in the world. What do I have to be unwilling about? Listening to Siming Lan's emotionless narration, Qin Zhengyan's expression was complicated. In his gaze, could not help but feel a bit more sympathy. No wonder he is so indulgent in his ways, yet still ruthless. Anyone in their youth, suffering from such a tragic event and torment. I'm afraid we'll all turn out like him when we grow up. Qin Zhengyan couldn't help but ask, "Have you killed all your enemies now?" "Those who tormented me. I have killed them all. I'll cut off that thing of theirs first. Then there are the limbs. In the end, it's the head. Every time I feel very comfortable. Unfortunately," Siminglan looked dazed. The voice unconsciously became hoarse. Qin Zhengyan couldn't help but shiver. He spoke again. "The emperor is not dead yet. There are magical artifacts guarding the palace. I can't get in, but his two princes are both at the Lay Giant sect. I will find a way to kill them." Siminglan finished speaking and lowered her head. No longer moving, Qin Zhengyan fell silent for a moment, suddenly stood up and walked in front of Siminglan, take off his outer garment, once again offering that alluring outfit. "Well, Saint Lady, you see, but he can't possibly be feeling sympathy for Siminglan." She felt a sense of pity for him. Liu Su called out in a muddled voice. The river of autumn spoke coldly. "Shut up." He stared intently at the image in the light orb. My heart was pounding wildly, until I saw Qin Zhengyan take off the outer garment of Siming Lan, step back 2 steps, no longer continue the action, finally breathed a sigh of relief. The situation in the room, after returning to its original state, Qin Zhengyan no longer urged his spiritual power, put on a blank expression. The wind in the bronze mirror gradually fades away. A moment later, Siminglan suddenly looked up. A hint of doubt appeared on his face. "Suddenly saw someone standing in front of me." Qin Zhengyan, captivated by the charm technique. His face returned to that.